Hey guys, Scripture here with another video. Kathleen Kennedy ready to retire but is waiting for a win according to Entertainment Analyst. Wow, so she's admitting that there hasn't been wins. Well, that's good. Way to go, Kathy. You're finally... But wait a minute. The other day she said that it was projects that are done by women are far more criticized and, you know, they would be viewed as better if it wasn't for them, you know, if it wasn't for the misogynists. That was not even that long ago. So how are you going to break through the barrier of the misogynist, Kathy? For your big win. Because that's the only reason these shows suck and nobody likes them is because women. Because it's impossible for a woman to actually be incompetent. It's only men claiming they're incompetent. That's true. Women are always, always, always competent. Men, on the other hand, can make crappy movies and be criticized for their movies. Women, it's only because they're women. It's not because the content sucks. Kathleen Kennedy apparently has something in common with much of the Star Wars fan base. She wants Kathleen Kennedy to leave Lucasfilm. But according to Film Threats Chris Gore, she's only willing to walk out the door under one condition. It's always conditions. Like, just leave. Namely, she wants to leave on the heels of a massive critical and commercial success. That's something Lucasfilm hasn't experienced in some time. Well, why would you do that? This is just... So she's never leaving then. She's never leaving. Since Disney's initial acquisition of Lucasfilm in 2012, the company has been under the direction of film industry veteran Kathleen Kennedy. Back then, the longtime George Lucas and Steven Spielberg associate promised George that she would take care of his life's work. She has done anything but. Is this like her essentially saying to us as fans that if we want her gone, we all have to just be positive and spend money on her bullcrap next project so she'll finally leave? Like, is this her, like, trying to put us over a barrel or something? I'm not supporting your trash, Kennedy. I think it'd be really funny if this is actually true and she's never going to leave unless they have, like, this huge successful thing, and then she literally never leaves and passes away as the head of Lucasfilm. In like 10 or 20 or whatever years, she passes away as the head of Lucasfilm.
You think he's gone? He's not gone! That's the whole point! He's never gone!
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
Never having that hit she was waiting for. That would just be... Oh, man. Sad, really sad for fans, but kind of funny at the same time. Because at this point, it's so bad that, I mean, I don't even care all that much. Under Kennedy, the Star Wars franchise has gone from the most evergreen IP of all time to a sour note punching bag for the YouTubers and streamers over the world. Kennedy presided over the deeply unpopular Star Wars sequel trilogy, which saw the deconstruction and eventual death of Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, while pushing younger and more diverse cast. Now, diverse cast? Really? Was it? Was it? There's a black dude. So you had Tran and the black dude. In the originals, you got the black dude. Is that what it is? They're missing an Asian in the originals? Like, that's just so lame. That's literally the only difference between the sequels and the originals. And I'm comparing the originals, which is the 70s, is there's an Asian chick. Way to go! By the way, I don't like saying Asian either. It's Oriental. I don't know where we got into this Asian thing. Asians are... There's like 50 different types of people in Asia. Like, Russians are Asians. Like, what are you guys talking about? There's Arabs in Asia. Like, anyways, it's just the whole Asian thing. Like, no, Oriental. But that's the only difference. Like, it's so corny. She also oversaw and that's just the originals. In the prequel trilogy, there's tons of different, like, they pat themselves in the back for things they have absolutely no game in. These were the issues dealt with decades ago. We're the ones that did it. We solved society's woes. And I talk about this on my channel all the time. And you guys know this about that leaked video where the VP says, the guy from Disney says that, you know, they think they're going to change the world and how the world views things. And it's like, a lot of what they're doing, it's like, we already did that back in the 60s and 70s. And they're like, we're doing it now. No, No, you're not. She also oversaw Solo, a Star Wars story which holds the distinction of being the first ever Star Wars film to lose money at the box office. When you couple that with critical and commercial failures on Disney Plus like Acolyte, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the Book of Boba Fett, it becomes clear that under Kennedy's supervision, Star Wars has fallen a long way from the powerhouse sci-fi franchise it once was. And I would remind people, Lucasfilm is not just Star Wars. She also destroyed Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones 5 was a total flop. 4 wasn't very good, but it was good enough that you could have still put butts in the seats for 5 if you didn't make such a crappy movie. And then we have Willow, right? She did her woke version of the Willow show. I mean, on and on and on. It's not just Star Wars. It's all of it. She's destroyed it. And now she's going to wait till she has a hit? You're never getting a hit now. Built off of what? No one's going to see Indiana Jones 6, even if it's awesome, because the people are done. Like, this Rey movie, nobody's going to go watch that. Even the Mandalorian movie, I think that's the only one that'll do decent enough, because there's still a lot of people that put their faith in Jon Favreau, and there's even a few that do in Filoni. Ill-advised, but they do. And, there's 2 good seasons, or at least perceived good seasons of The Mandalorian, so I think it will make some money, but they're never going to get the huge $1.5+ billion blockbuster. It's never happening. Even Mando, I'd be shocked if it made $1 billion. I mean, season 3 was a disaster. The Lizzo stuff and all that stuff. Oh, man. With every failed project and announcement that never ultimately sees the light of day, fans around the world ask a series of unifying questions. When will Kathleen Kennedy leave Star Wars? When will Disney fire Kathleen Kennedy? How does Kathleen Kennedy still have a job? Yeah, we all wonder that. It doesn't make sense. You have failure after failure after failure after failure. And when things don't make sense, people start to speculate and make things up. People start to say, or at least, make things up in terms of what makes logical sense. Oh, she must know a lot of dirt on these guys, whether it's Iger or whoever. That's the conclusion you draw, because you're like, there's no other reason. It doesn't make any sense. Then again, the shareholders kept him in place as well, and a bunch of other board members. I mean, this company is losing money. It's the whole thing is so weird. I guess it's like, we're changing the world, and we're gonna force you to think your kids have to take hormone blockers. We're gonna change the world, Mickey Mouse. So we don't care about money anymore. It doesn't make any sense. According to Film Threats, Chris Gore, on a recent episode of the Pro show with WDW Pro, Kathleen Kennedy actually wants to leave Lucasfilm, but only under very specific circumstances. We've been hearing lately that Kathleen Kennedy is not very hands-on with Star Wars at this point. It doesn't matter. Her acolyte, Dave Filoni, everyone thought he was George's. No, he's hers. Go back and listen to some of those speeches about how, it's all about feminizing Star Wars, and it can't be for boys anymore. We have to make it for girls. He's all about it, guys. Like, that's... nothing changes, whether she's in hands-on with it or not. Hollywood scooper WDW Pro said to Gore on a recent episode of his live stream YouTube show, "Are you hearing anything similar that she may be operating in title only, at least for now?" Then Gore confirmed that he was hearing similar rumblings before dropping a bit more information. She wants to retire and leave, he said, but she wants to do that on a win. Never gonna happen. Gore went on to say that in order to leave, Kathleen Kennedy wants a huge success, that she can ride into retirement. This could be a smash hit television show or a major box office victory with a theatrical release. In other words, she wants to go out on a high note like George Costanza on Seinfeld. Okay, yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. She's going to die as the head of Lucasfilm. She's waiting to go out on a big win, and she hasn't had one. No, she hasn't had one. And yet, she's still there. And yet, it's completely up to her if she wants to leave. Mind-boggling, isn't it? It stands to reason that Kennedy would want to retire. She's 71 years old and has enjoyed a long and highly lucrative career in Hollywood. However, if recent projects are indicative of what the studio under her leadership is capable of, then we might be stuck with Kathleen Kennedy for life. The Acolyte, for example, had an atrocious showing on Disney Plus, with audience scores on Rotten Tomatoes falling as low as 13% during the show's initial run. It's at 17 now. The Acolyte also vanished from the Nielsen top 10 streaming shows after just 4 episodes. That Park Place chief editor, John F. Trent, also pointed out that the Leslie Headland-led live-action series lost 75% of the Star Wars audience that tuned in for the season 2 finale of The Mandalorian. I had heard it was 90, but even 75 is pretty terrible. Really terrible, actually. And again, I don't think you're going to get the same ratings for anything that you're going to get for Luke Skywalker showing up and dealing with a bunch of Dark Troopers. Like, no. Like, so I don't like criticize the fact they didn't have the same ratings as that. But 25% of that is really bad. If they got even 50 or 60, you'd be like, you know what? It's respectable. But no, that's so terrible. And also consider there were rumors that a lot of parents were very upset. And after the episode with the nude scene and the looking at the crotch scene, they didn't want their kids watching it anymore and stopped allowing them to watch it. And so you saw the ratings continue to go down, which could be indicative of that particular rumor. Kennedy has also announced a plethora of Star Wars projects that never saw the light of day. This includes a trilogy by The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson, a Rogue Squadron movie by Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins, a film by Marvel studio head Kevin Feige, and a film by Game of Thrones showrunners Benioff and Weiss. Yeah, it's disorganized, it's a mess. And keep in mind as well, that doesn't include all the issues within the projects. Even going back to the sequels, the amount of reshoots they did was nuts. They were reshooting up until like a month before The Rise of Skywalker came out. They couldn't make a decision. Daisy Ridley said she still didn't know who she was, like her character, halfway through shooting The Rise of Skywalker. They still hadn't made a decision. Now, Kathy came out and said, oh no, it was always going to be Palpatine. No, the actress herself said no. They didn't know what they were doing, and then they had to do reshoots. So it has been a complete mess. And what's interesting about that is her job as a producer with Steven and George and everybody else is to provide the logistics necessary to make the creative process work. That's one of her jobs as an executive producer. So there's a scene you want to do. How can we do it on budget and have it still be really amazing and let the creatives do what they need to do? And yet when it comes to being the head of this company, logistically, she's just an absolute mess. It's a mess. I think it's all just status for her. She even said, oh, I love going to the parties. It's like she just likes to be seen, I guess, and likes the attention. Maybe she's finally getting sick of the negative attention. I don't know. With Kennedy's current Lucasfilm contract reportedly set to expire in October, it will be interesting to see if Disney renews her or if Lucasfilm might be searching for a new studio head. Well, if she's making comments like, I'm going to leave when I feel like it, when I think I've got a hit show or TV show, it sounds like it's automatic they're going to renew her. It's automatic. It has been so far. Why would I think it would be any different? Remember last time, they're going to hire somebody else. No. Again, she knows where the bodies are buried or something. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Run it into the ground and continue to get paid big money and continue to be in the position you're in. So, no, I don't think she leaves in October. If she does, great. That finally means the board finally has a set of nards and makes a good decision. But I would be shocked if that was the case. Will Kennedy stick around until she gets the long-awaited big win, or will Disney force her to move on in October? I don't think they're going to force her to. I wish they would. But at the same time, you guys have to realize that, like, all of the stuff they're doing and the world changing and all that stuff they're trying to do and the way they're changing all of these IPs to be female-centric, it is from the top. Like, this is from shareholders. These are companies that are international. And if they want to push it, they're going to push it. And there's absolutely nothing that's going to change that. I mean, if some of these guys didn't like what they're doing at Disney World, like with the dudes, with beards and stuff, as Disney princesses, doing kids' makeup and hair and all this stuff. If they didn't like that, it's literally a phone call. They're the ones pushing this. So, and I'm not saying it's good or bad. If you want that and you want to go and have your bearded, dressed up, like Ariel or whoever, whatever Disney princess, do your kid's hair, well, have at her, man. You go right ahead. I don't think Kathleen Kennedy leaving is even going to matter. And I think that might be a big reason why she's always stays, is because she plays ball. She does what they want. But she's never going to get a hit doing this. Their strategy is terrible. Everything's identity politics. Every show that comes out, they have to, 6 months before the show, tell everybody that if you don't like it, you're racist or you're misogynist or you're anti-gay or whatever. They have to say all these things, go after the audience before it's even released. And then the show itself is very female-centric, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the problem is in Marvel and Star Wars, the vast majority of your core audience is dudes. So if you do that, like I hear rumors there's something in the new Captain America movie. As a dude, I don't want to see dudes with dudes. Like, I just don't want to see it. I don't. If you do that, that's your thing. You know what I mean? Two grown people, whatever. If you, I don't hate you. I nothing you. But I don't want to see that. And so I'm not going to buy a ticket if that's what's in it. It's not. It's nothing personal. I just don't feel like watching that. So this strategy is failing. It's not going to work. I think she's never going to leave. I think eventually, I think health-wise she'll probably have to leave. But even if she did leave, it doesn't matter. So this whole thing doesn't really matter. It's just all garbage and crap. Don't get me wrong. It's fun to make fun of it, but it's actually depressing at the same time because it's like, yes, I get it. You want to push your agenda, but you're just like sacrificing all the coolest stuff that we grew up with on the altar of your worldview and trying to change mine. As if your stupid movies and TV shows are going to accomplish that. Like it blows my mind. It blows my mind. You had a license to print money and you went down that road. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Always helps the channel. Feel free to check out anything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.